Founder of the National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now. Hug the person next to you, tell him you love him. Never give up and never give in. The change will come, keep faith down within. Trouble and trials won't last always. God on our side, nothing but pride. I can say, hold on, that He's strong. A better day is coming and it won't be too long. Yes, change will come. Change will come. Change will come. Starting with you, your change will come. Your change will come. Starting with you, your never give up and never give in. Your change will come. Keep faith down within. Trouble and trials won't last always. God on our side, nothing but pride. I can still hold on, that He's strong. Better day is coming and it won't be too long. Yes, change will come. Change will come. Change will come. Your change will come. Your change is gonna come. Your change will come. Your change is gonna come. Change will come. Change will come. Change will come. Starting with you, your change will come. National Action Network Change Choir. Give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally. For you that are here live at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the Village of Harlem. And for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York. And we will be going live in the next few minutes on Impact Television around the country. We're happy to be with you another Saturday morning where the action is. Give a hand out, Presider Attorney Michael Hardy, our Northeast Regional Director, Minister Kirsten John Ford. And certainly we thank God for safe travels this week and to be back with you this morning. And we left last Sunday after Politics Nation last Sunday evening, Attorney Hardy and I, accompanied by both my daughters, Dominique and Ashley, and Aisha, her daughter. All of us went, several others, delegation to first Dublin, Ireland, and then to Durban, South Africa. And got back yesterday morning, about 11 o'clock, and was able to go do my radio show and 2 TV shows, and we up there this morning. So y'all that talk about my birthday coming, me and Hardy have not got no jet lag yet. All the youngins that went with us is sleeping trying to get here, other than Dominique. I get Dominique that. So we thank God for traveling mercy and you that prayed for us. Let me say that, and I'll get into our trip in a minute. Let me say that we dedicate this broadcast today to the family of George Gresham, president of SEIU 1199, who lost his wife, Sandy Elaine Gresham. And I'll be leaving right after the rally, going to have words at the funeral. Sandy Gresham, who stood by George throughout his leadership as the leader of 1199, a great activist, great leader, and he always talked about his backbone was his wife. And we will give her a big hand. Sandy Gresham. Give her a big hand. Give her a big hand. And she'll be funeralized at 11 at Grace Baptist Church, the home church of our chairman, Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, who chairs our board and pastors Grace. She was a member of that church. So I'll be joining the services right after the rally, and then on from there to the Javits Center. I'm going to address the Circle of Sisters as I do every year. Before they do their panels, I give a keynote, and then I'll be running from there to Washington, where I'll be preaching in the morning after doing Politics Nation Live from Washington. I'll be preaching at Howard University's morning service in the morning. So I've covered a lot of ground. We flew 20 hours yesterday, but hit the ground and kept going. And we thank God for traveling mercy. I also want to acknowledge, I don't get into a lot of personal family stuff, I want to acknowledge the birthday of my son-in-law to be, Dr. Marcus Bright. Get Dr. Bright happy birthday, and he and Dominique will get married in about 2 weeks. And I won't be acknowledging his birthday every year, but being that he's taken a tremendous load off my shoulder, he will bear the responsibility from here out, so I want to wish him a happy birthday. My shoulders will be a little steeper, and his will be a little drooling every birthday to come. So I think I'm about ready to kiss her. When they say salute the bride, I might kiss her first. Because we have spoiled our daughters, and so he's inherited a spoiled daughter. I always wanted my daughters to not have to suffer like I did. I grew up on welfare, food stamps. I overly wanted to do what my family didn't provide for me. But in the interim, it spoils them. So he's got a spoiled activist. Now, Dominique is an activist now. She do all the work that she can and then some, but she does it first class. I want you to know that. So I thank God for Brother Dr. Marcus Bright. Have a happy birthday, because this is your last solo birthday. Oh yeah. Thank you, Lord. All right. As Minister Forrest said, next Saturday, we'll be celebrating my birthday here, and we want everybody to attend, and many of the elected officials. But as important to me is the following Wednesday, the 11th. They're doing the symposium. Dr. Jamal Watson and Diverse Magazine, along with Nash Action Network, is doing a symposium at Columbia University School of Journalism on the historic impact of Al Sharpton. But here's why it is important to me and hopefully you, is that in 1967, when Dr. King was headed north, that is when he started Operation Breadbasket. In 68, I joined and went on from there. Now, I was 13 when I became the youth director of Operation Breadbasket. I was appointed by Reverend Jackson, Jesse Jackson, and Reverend Jones. I was 13, and I will be 63 on Tuesday, which means that I will have been an official, stated official of a civil rights group for 50 years. I'm not talking about the rallies and stuff I went through at 12. I'm talking about for 50 years, I've held a position in national civil rights. Now, what this study will do on that Wednesday is talk about not only my life, but the eras of struggle and environments that we went through in those eras of struggle. And we need to really understand the post-King years. What happened? 100 cities burned. And when I joined Breadbasket, it was a choice based on what? Well, we have everybody from Reverend Jesse Jackson will be there, Reverend Bishop Herbert Daughtry. David Dinkins is going to talk about the era in the 90s, and on and on and on. Let me welcome our Impact Television family. Give them a hand. So on Wednesday, the 11th, is the symposium studying all of that. For 50 years, since I was 13, I've been holding a position in civil rights. And we're going to study those eras with different panels, starting sharp at 9 all the way to 5. Joy Reid is going to talk about my leadership in this era of MSNBC. Angela Rye of CNN, who started her consistent media presence on my show, Politics Nation. And on and on and on, many, Charlie Rangel, many from different phases of not only my life, but of the struggle at that time. Now, this is to analyze the historic impact of our work and in what part of history. This is not a bio. So before folks start running around talking about, well, I knew Rev, I was close to the Rev. This is not a testimonial about me. This is about where we were in history and what we did. For example, when we marched in Howard Beach and raised the issue, and then Bensonhurst, that was the first time in North that we were successful in putting whites in jail for killing blacks. Young white kids got away with that before Howard Beach. Well, somebody needs to do that era. And that's where we have David Patterson and others talk about the climate. Kids take for granted today things that happened yesterday because they don't know no better. So that is what the seminar is about. It is free, but it's limited seating. It's at Columbia. Again, the Diverse Magazine is doing it. You that want to really walk through, the only thing about it is I'm not allowed to speak that they speak about me, from Jesse Jackson to David Dinkins to on and on. And I got to sit there and hear it all. But you can learn a lot and you can be part of it. You can reserve a seat at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call 1-877-626-4651. 1-877-626-4651. The next night The 12th is the Triumph Awards. And the Triumph Awards is our annual cultural and entertainment awards. And we're honoring this year noted, celebrated award-winning actress Lynn Whitfield will be there. Cynthia Nixon will be there. Dr. Ian Smith, and the legend herself, Valerie Simpson of the iconic duo Ashford and Simpson at Lincoln Center. Those tickets are free too. You want to be in the house. So you that are coming from out of town can just come for 2 days of National Action Network at its best. And I want you to, again, you can go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net or call at 1-877-626-4651. Let me say to you in the Impact audience, there is so much going on, and I'm going to address it, but there's so much going on that you need to know and believe that you can be centered in the middle of all of this confusion. Lady stopped me this week and said that there is a real strength in having spiritual people involved in the movement. She said, I called your prayer line and I got an answer to my prayer. I want you to know we're not just doing something here. When I tell y'all on Saturday mornings, if you need a prayer call here, this is real. Because you need prayer during these times. Minister Floyd said now, a little while ago, prayer changes things. I heard Kevin McCall saying prayer changes things. If you need prayer right now, call our prayer line. They're activists that are in the trenches. So they got to stay prayed up. I don't want nobody that's in the cathedral all the time pray for me, because they may not have to pray all the time. But folk that are on the ground serving the needy and helping the distressed and dealing with the rejects and the unacceptable, I know they prayed up because they got to be prayed up to do their work. Call them right now and make your prayer request. 1-877-626-4651. 1-877-626-4651. And the prayer lines are open. And again, let me repeat, after the rally today, I'm going to speak at the funeral for George Gresham's widow, and then I speak at Circle of Sisters. Y'all saw Gwen Carr and her daughter and relatives come in like they modeling at a fashion show. They on the way to Circle of Sisters. They got on their Circle of Sisters, y'all look at me dresses on today. Give them a hand, family of their God. And then for you that are nationwide, you in the Washington area, I'm doing my show tomorrow, Politics Nation, with Al Sharpton, 8 a.m. Eastern, live from Washington, because at 11 o'clock, I'll be preaching at Howard University's morning service. Meet me at Rankin Chapel in the morning. Last Sunday after the shows, I went to Dublin, Ireland. And one of the things that was interesting, I was so proud to go and bring a delegation, Attorney Hardy, my daughters and others, Aisha, her daughter. And one of the things that was interesting to me, I was talking to Minister Ford, is somewhere in the Bible, it says if you're faithful over a few things, make you rule over many. Nowhere in my dreams did I ever think that there would be in a nation that is almost all white, that they would honor me for doing civil rights work. But what was interesting is when we went to UDC, the first college, they presented me the James Joyce Award, and the only blacks that had won that award was Archbishop Desmond Tutu and Reverend Jackson. but Nobel Prize winners and all. And then we went from there to Trinity College, which they call the Oxford of Ireland, which is a 345-year-old college, and gave me the gold medal. But I thought about how Stephen Marshall, I had been in my career. That's why I preach faith every Sunday and every Saturday to y'all. In my career, I thought about how they would call me names. They would call me shakedown artist, hustling, wasn't legit. I thought about how they would demonize me. And people would ask me, how do you keep going? And ironically, the day they were giving me the awards was my mother's birthday. And I thought about when they used to write all this negative stuff about me. My mother would just tell me that just keep the faith. And you ain't working for them, you working for the Lord. And on her birthday, kids that wasn't even born when I started, white kids in another nation gave me awards in their nation. My mother taught me, if you hold on, God will make a way for you. So I'm not talking about what I studied. I'm talking about what I've lived. I'm talking about what I know God can do because he did it for me. And when you think about what you've been through, then you know you can get through the rest because it couldn't be nothing worse than what you already been through. In my journey, my birthday is Tuesday, I've been stabbed, I've been prosecuted, I've been called everything, stood up in front of judges. If God brought me through all of that, I can stand up here every Saturday and every day and tell you, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I don't care what they got, God can give you the victory if you hold on and believe him. We left Dublin, Ireland, and went on to South Africa, to Durban, South Africa, and I keynoted the gala dinner for Essence Magazine's music festival there, and did the woman empowerment breakfast Thursday morning before we flew back here, got back here yesterday morning. And I thought about Reverend Johnny Green. He slipped in the back, but I can still see, I'm getting older, but I can see that far, Reverend Green. In a row by eyesight. And I thought about, and thank you for your congratulation text while I was over there. I thought about, as I was talking to some of the ANC elders, I want to deal with this a minute. Many of us are antithetical to our history and our people. Everybody, Attorney Hardy will tell you, young and old, could give you the history of the African National Congress and can give you the history of the struggle there in South Africa against apartheid. One of the things that was amazing to me, they doing a symposium on me, those young kids, and it was so important for me for the delegation here, those young kids in Ireland and South Africa know of our history and our struggle. Could tell me stuff I did. And they know their history and they exalt their elders. It is the African tradition to exalt the elders of their tribe. Y'all with me? Mandela, who was the first president of South Africa, democratically elected, who broke the backs of political apartheid, in his dying days, I show Dominique, took a picture with his wife and his first wife, Winnie, and told both of them his wishes when he died was to bring him back to the village of his birth and bury him with the elders of his tribe. He could have been buried in the capital. He could have been buried wherever he wanted. He went back to his roots, because a fruit is never stronger than the roots that bore them and strengthened them through their life. One of the ways that they destroy your life, and one of the ways that they try to destabilize our movement, is by cutting off the branches from the tree and the fruits from the roots. Let me get to my point. While we in Africa came across the wires, that the news wires, somebody said the who. I forgot I wore that 30 Rock up here. 30 Rock, they just say the wires, it's the news wires. It came across the news wires that they had discovered Johnny Green. They have been investigating these ads and these kind of fake news, they call it, that the Russians were doing to impact the election. But watch this. One of the things they discovered was that they were sending ads and people into black activist groups and trying to incite and push them in certain ways. Some of y'all saw that here. Now, these were the ones that would instigate against traditional organizations and legacy groups. And the problem was, y'all don't want civil rights, y'all want this and that, because they wanted to cause a kind of atmosphere that was riotous, because it is in their interest that they cause calamity, because they want to destabilize the country. They also know if they destabilize the black community, that it would lead to dissension, which helps a climate of saying we can't vote for Hillary because everything's unstable and those black leaders are on the defensive, and it helped Trump. Notice a lot of the activists you saw out there criticizing traditional organizations and black leaders, even their age. Notice you have not seen them since the election. Hello. So whether they were willing tools or not, they were manipulated by people like these Russian hackers. This is what they have now proven, that some of that directly went back the money to the Kremlin. And they were being maneuvered. Because all they got to do when you got a movement that's organic, they just put some instigators in the crowd. You don't know who they are. And they get in there and say, man, we tired of all this nonviolence, let's throw a rock. And everybody already mad, and they drive the crowd that way. We don't need to be listening to NAACP. We don't need to be listening to Sharpton. We need to be our own leaders. Never realizing we don't know who you are. And now it is established that's what they did. I'm telling you, anytime you have people that don't respect the elders of their struggle, there is something wrong with their leadership and their motives. That's right. Think about this now. If you are a new activist, if you are a new person with something new in mind, if you are hoping to be a new leader, why are you mad at those that did what you want to do before you did it? I mean, why are you mad at them? Other than someone is projecting you in a way that makes no sense and motivated by something that is not correct. One of the things that I'm most proud of is the elders of the movement finding value and worth in our work. When I was in South Africa, Andrew Young was there, and he talked for a long time that morning with Attorney Hardy and I about Dr. King and the movement. Last Saturday, when the rally was over, I was surprised Reverend Jesse Jackson walked in, spent a couple hours with us. Some of y'all were still here, and Jesse was here. I grew up under them. If you have any self-respect, you want those that preceded you to find pride in what you're doing. There's something jaded about folk that don't care about those that raised them being proud of them. I mean, if you grow up and don't care about what your mom and daddy think of you, ain't nothing wrong with them, something wrong with you. If they brought you here and you don't care about their opinion of you, something wrong with you. Hello. That's why the Bible says, honor thy mother and father, that your days, y'all don't run past that too quick. Not their days, your days. Honoring them don't add to their days, it adds to your days. Because to honor them is to honor the portals that God brought you through. And whatever they are or are not, they brought you through, and you must honor them to honor the God that produced you. My mother had to leave school before she got to secondary school in Dothan, Alabama. But she made sure I could go all the way to college. So you could say at one level, well, my mother wasn't well educated. Well, it does not matter. She made sure I was. In the Bible, it goes from generation to generation. And we must, as a people, respect the history and respect where our generation to generation struggle goes forward. That's one of the things you learn in Africa. They are in different phases. Now, they went and they, in 94, had the first elections there in South Africa. Then they went from the first elections in South Africa to now they're dealing with land reform. And they must take the capital, take over the economy and the capital. Struggles go in a process of continual movements and strategies and policies. You do not win a revolution overnight. You do not win a struggle overnight. Whether it is a political struggle, whether it's a military struggle, whatever it is, if you study history, it's a process. And part of immaturity is we expect a process to happen right now. This whole quick fix stuff is what has crippled a lot of your lives. Y'all want instant gratification. You get a headache, you take a pill, you get rid of the headache, never asking, is there something wrong with your body that caused the headache? You just want to stop the pain. Instant gratification. You play lotto, but don't put money in a retirement fund. Because you want to hit the lotto while you blow your retirement. And you may never hit the lotto and ain't got no retirement and end up 70 years old broke. Something wrong with somebody that got lotto tickets in the house and don't have a 401k plan. You visit your cousin, he's got a stack of lotto tickets. Say, well, where's your retirement fund? I ain't putting none away. Because you stupid. Ain't got no life insurance. Somebody talk about, well, I'm going home one day to see the Lord. Before you go, did you leave something here to pay for your funeral? I want you to go see Jesus. But before you go, don't leave no bill on us. We must plan, and by planning you glean from the elders ahead of you. I learned from those that raised me. I learned from Reverend Jackson. I learned from Wyatt T. Walker. I learned from James Brown. I learned the mistakes they made and told me not to repeat. And I try to teach that to the young folk coming behind me, because none of us walked a perfect walk. All of us have made mistakes. All of us have fell. All of us have stumbled. But the key to life and leadership is not lying about stumbling. Tell them, yes, I stumbled, but I got back up. And let me tell you how I got back up. Well, Reverend Al, I see scars on you. That's scars from when I fell. But the reason you can see the scars is because I'm back up off the ground. If I was still on the ground, you couldn't see the scars. But now that I got back up, you can see the scars. And a sign that I'm healed is I roll up my leg and show you where the scars are. Because you ain't ashamed of a healed scar. Quit hiding your scars. Your scars, God will turn into stars if you embrace that he brought you through. Another thing I won't deal with. While I was gone, I was monitoring this. Don't let Trump flip the script. I'll tell you something. Never forget it. Man, we talk a lot about how off he is. But he's slick if he ain't nothing else. Last season, when Colin Kaepernick and then Michael Bennett took a knee, and during the national anthem, it was to protest police brutality and racism. Now, there is a history to that. I said it when I got back yesterday. I went on MSNBC. Jackie Robinson wrote in his book, his autobiography, I Never Had It Made, that was published in 1972. Jackie Robinson said, I cannot pledge to the flag because of what it done to me. The Jackie Robinson, who broke the color line in Major League Baseball. Muhammad Ali stood up for his religion in protest. Arthur Ashe stood up against apartheid in protest. There is a history of athletes standing up. In our times, when we went to Sanford, Florida, and protested around Trayvon Martin when they would not even arrest George Zimmerman, who killed him. Some of the Miami Heat team, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and them, wore t-shirts and hoodies because Trayvon had on hoodie. They did that in your time. Then when Eric Gardner was choked to death right here, her son, by New York City police, I saw LeBron and them in our time wear t-shirts said, I can't breathe, on the court. It didn't start with Colin. Colin dramatized it. And it got the right attention and focus. And we owe Kaepernick and we owe Michael Bennett for doing what has historically been done. But now Trump is trying to flip the script and say that the protest is against the flag and against the military. It has not been done against the flag. It's to challenge you to stand up to what you say over the flag. When I was growing up, Mr. Trump, and they made us salute the flag, they say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. When they bow, they're saying it is not one nation, with liberty and justice for all. And we pray that it will be. That is not against the flag. They didn't burn the flag. They didn't drag the flag down. Y'all have brought the flag down. They're bowing down, hoping to lift up justice. Don't let them change the cause. They're now, you got owners and all taking a knee, but they're not talking about racism. Talking about we got the right to free speech, but they're not speaking about police brutality. Don't give them a way out. Oh, we all gonna join arms, come by y'all, get on our knee. But you still don't have no blacks in the front office. You still don't have no blacks on the major team. Don't take a cheap way out. Won't give blacks contracts in the stadium. We had no concessions in many of the stadiums. No contracts in the middle of the stadium. Don't take a knee and think you're on your way out. Get on your knee and talk about racism. Talk about inclusion. Talk about giving us some of the economic spoil. Don't play us. We know why we protest. You go out on the field, 75, 80% of the players black. You go in the front office, it look like Rocky Mountain. The higher up you go, the whiter it is. Trump got you arguing about the wrong thing. Trump said this ain't about race. No, it's all about race. That's what the protest started about. Then let me tell you how he slips through the smoke. He said the NFL players fire the NFL owners, fire any of the players that get on their knees or they protest. Well, first of all, he has no authority over the NFL owners. In fact, when he tried to get an NFL team, they rejected him. So he got a little grievance with them anyhow. But where does he have authority? He has authority over what Kaepernick and them were raising the issue of in the first place. Police brutality and racial inequality. So why don't you address the issue, Mr. Trump, of how you have a Justice Department that has stopped any review of policing, that has now come back in and militarized local police again, and said that when Obama took the militarization out, y'all are putting it back in. Why don't you address how you tried to stop a consent decree in Baltimore? Why don't you address how you stopped the police reforms that came out of the commission? Because you're in charge of that. But he's trying to flip the script, making it about the NFL and the flag rather than racism and justice. We are not that stupid. We are not that dumb. We're going to not only take a knee, we're going to take feet and keep marching, and we're going to keep standing up until we deal with the racial inequality in the United States. Second thing that I was watching. How do you have? Let me get this picture for you. We had an unexpected earthquake hit Haiti in 2010. Is that right? That's right. Before dawn the next day, there were troops in the air on the way to Haiti. under President Barack Obama. There were high military men on the way in within 24 hours. Unexpected, devastating earthquake. We were on the ground in less than 24 hours. Fast forward 2017, Mr. Builder, Mr. Developer, Mr. I can plan anything, Mr. I'm smarter than Obama, an expected hurricane that had been predicted for days, and Hurricane 5 hits Puerto Rico, where they are American citizens. Haitians are not American citizens. American citizens. And days later, you got nobody in there of any authority. You got no troops on the ground. And then to add insult to injury, you have a lady come out of the West Wing talking about this is a good news story. Now I got angry and went to New Orleans when George Bush commended the head of Homeland Security, talking about, Brownie, you doing a good job. This makes Brownie look like nothing. To commend this as a good story when people are dying, when most of the island has no electricity, no way of getting food, no way of getting out of homes that are trapped, and they are American citizens. Something telling that every time black or brown people face a crisis, this president is asleep at the switch. I wonder if there'd have been a different reaction somewhere else. Didn't take them that long to get to Texas. Didn't take them that long to get to Florida. That hurricane was headed up Palm Beach. They was ready. But Puerto Rico, they knew it was coming and they didn't care. Now, your job and my job, those that are believers and claim to be saved and sanctified and Holy Ghost filled, those that claim to be activists, your job is not to speak for the convenient and for those that are comforted. Your job is to stand up and speak for those that can't speak for themselves. Don't forget that there is no reason for God to call you if everything is going all right. What do he need you for? He calls you to speak for those that can't speak for themselves. If everybody was cool, there's no reason to call you. But because they're wicked, and because they're unrighteous, and because they're those that are perverted and distorted in places of power, that's why God would invest his word into you as flawed and imperfect as we are. Because I need somebody to stand up and speak truth in the midst of lies. If you preach away from the point, then you have no value to the cause. If you don't deal with the issues, you are no value to God calling you. Your value is that you will do what others won't do. Your value is you'll speak to what others won't speak to. And if God really called you, God will back you up every time. I keep telling y'all, there's no such thing as untested faith. I got on a plane night before last, Durban, South Africa. Had to fly to Turkey, Istanbul, Turkey, to get plane from there to the United States. Now, it was a 9-hour flight from South Africa to Istanbul, and 12 hours from there. We were in the air 21 hours. If you ask anybody in the delegation, what was the name of any of the pilots, they couldn't tell you. What was the name of any of the flight attendants, couldn't tell you. Them even actually went to better schools than me. Smart as they are, they didn't ask nobody their name. Hardy went to the best schools, boarding schools, big white schools, all that. Went, sat down, strapped his seatbelt on. He didn't know one of them monkeys from Africa was up in the pilot there. They don't even let you look in the cockpit. Ashley woke up in Durban and the monkeys was trying to get in a hotel room. Hardy didn't know one of the monkeys was flying the plane. Strapped down, went to sleep, woke up over the Atlantic. You gonna tell me you got faith in strangers who you don't even know to put you in a ton of steel and fly you over raging seas, but because somebody told you it was safe, you put your life, your faith, your body in them, and you expect me not to believe in a God that my mama told me what his name was, that my mama told me what he would do for me, that my mama showed me that if I called him, he'd answer my prayer, that my mama told me that he may not be there when you want him, but he's always on time. I believe in a God that I know more than a pilot I never met. He brought me over torrential seas. I know I can make it because he brought me safe this far. You got faith, but you got faith in the wrong thing. Calling for help for strangers in the night. Sitting up there now talking about you broke and calling bankers lines. Somebody overseas answering your cell phone call. You don't even know who you're talking to. You're talking to somebody 5,000 miles away that's taking your number down. Need a password. Give me your account number. Then give me your password. Then give me the number on the back of your card. All of that to tell you no. But I got a connection that I ain't got to go through all of that. Mama taught me when I was a little boy, if you call her, if you need a password, the name is Jesus. Just put in J-E-S-U-S and tell him what you want. Mama couldn't sing, but she would hum around the house. Jesus is on the main line. Tell him what you want. Tell him what you want. Call him and tell him. If you want to dry them tears from your eyes, call him and tell him. If you got more bills than money, call him and tell him. If you're sick in your body, call him and tell him. If Trump got you down, he'll lift you up. Can't no Trump defeat my God. I will make it through all of this. We had great 4 days, and as we were getting ready to leave, one of them in my delegation said, Reverend, on your way out of the Essence Music Festival here in Durban, want you to meet with some of the faith leaders. And I met with about 21, 22 pastors, Reverend Green. And they told me what they were doing. I told them what we were doing over here about our ministers' march and some of the work we do and some of the work we do with Impact. And as I got ready to leave, some of y'all that follow me on social media saw the picture. Young Bishop said to me, Reverend, before you go, can we pray over you? And they sat me down in the middle of a circle. And they extended their hands. And I thought about how when I was a little boy, growing up in Washington Temple Church of God in Christ, the old saints used to just put their hand out and pray over you. They didn't have much education. They didn't have much money. They didn't have much respectability. But they would extend their hands and pray over you. And something about the electricity of the prayers of the saints. Somewhere I read the prayers of the righteous availeth much. And as I approach my birthday, I know deep down in my bones that it was the prayers of those old ladies in Washington Temple that stood up against the powers that tried to bring me down. And them prayers of them South African preachers put the gust under the wings of those airplanes and brought me back. I'm standing on the promises of prayer, because prayer changes things. I learned to pray in and out of season, anytime, for any reason. Prayer is the key. Faith unlocks the door. I believe in prayer. I believe in prayer. I believe in prayer. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Yeah. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. I'm opening the doors of the movement. There may be someone here today, hears us on the radio, watches us on television, but never joined and became a member of National Action Network. Never got active. Never said, let me give my talents, my thoughts, whatever time I may have, large or small amount of time, it doesn't matter. I want to be part of the ongoing struggle. If you're here today and want to join National Action Network and put your abilities with ours, just come down either aisle and shake my hand and let us sign you up right now to the National Action Network. Come on, everybody sing. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. Yeah, sing it like you mean it. What's happening, brother? All right. Everybody sing. Everybody singing. Yeah. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. All right. I'm gonna raise our offering moving quickly. Had to go to this funeral and on Circle of Sisters and on to DC. So let's move quickly. I was glad Attorney Hardy led the delegation with me. Very proud that my daughter's first trip to Africa was with me. And everybody hung on in there. And of course, again, we are happy that we salute Dr. Bright on his birthday. And every time I see him, I just break out smiling. He don't know. When he say I do, I'm gonna shout all over that church. I'm wearing my dancing shoes. I'm gonna do the James Brown and the Madam Washington. I'm gonna sing, I don't know what Kathy gonna say, but I'm gonna sing How I Got Over. But it ain't only his birthday, it's Gwen Carr's birthday, mother of Eric Gardner. Stand up, let's wish her happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Give her a cake, give her a big hand. Her birthday was a few days ago, but we didn't do the cake last week. So we wanted to give her her cake. And we know that's why we got your daughter and company come so they could eat some of your birthday cake. And Leisha's yesterday. I didn't know that. Come on, happy birthday. It's Eric's sister. Happy birthday. Yesterday, Gwen Carr, and of course, Dr. Bright. Kirsten, go in the back, get my briefcase under Dominique's bills. I'm going to present that to Dr. Bright. It's the FIC folder. No, Dominique been independent, I give her that. Dominique turned 19. Ain't asked me for much since then. Ashley don't ask for nothing. They independent. I give them that. I can tease, but they're independent. I'm proud both of them make their way. And both of them activists. I never want them involved because I know the pain it is to be involved. And they pick at everything they do. They get